there is something that is fundamentally wrong with our modern world, our modern economy, which is this confusion between these two concepts of saving and investing, right? They tell us that if we want to maintain our purchasing power, we have to invest, right? Because of inflation, right? We have to invest our money for the chance of being able to maintain our economic energy, right? This is a fundamental flaw in the world. Because imagine all the doctors, the lawyers, the plumbers, the designers, everybody who spends all this time, energy, skills in providing value to the world, and they receive this economic energy, and then if they want to keep it, they have to gamble it. They have to turn it into financial experts and gamble, right? Make bets in the market, put this economic energy at risk for the chance of getting it, of maintaining it, right? So this is a huge problem. This is a huge problem because if you cannot hold on to your economic energy, you do not increase your ease of survival and your freedom, right? If many people in the world work so hard and at the end they have nothing to show for it because the government is trying to suck their economic energy from them through money printing, the banks are trying to suck their economic energy, their employer, right? So how can we fix this? Saving, the concept of saving is just a transfer of value through time, right? That's it, with minimal risk. So if I have the economic energy to buy one hamburger today, by saving it, I can transfer this economic value 50 years into the future, and then I'll be able to also buy this one hamburger with the same economic energy, right? This is saving, right? Investing is different. Investing is putting my economic energy at risk so that in the future I can buy more hamburgers, right? So we shouldn't mix those two like we're doing in the modern world, right? So what is the solution? We have to find an asset that really works as a store of value, right? So let's think about the opposite. Let's think about the worst store of value possible. What would be the worst store of value? It would be something that is absolutely abundant. It's everywhere, like water. If you think about it, imagine receiving your salary in water. Why doesn't that make sense? Because water is everywhere. In the snow, it rains, lakes, rivers, everywhere, right? And if you don't have enough water, it will rain. Most of the world, unless you live in a desert, water is abundant, right? And so that makes for a terrible store of value. And then another thing is that it's dependence. So why is the stock of a company a bad savings technology? Because the stock of that company depends on the CEO's decision, the success of the company, market forces, competition forces, right? Which put at risk your savings. Again, with savings, we want minimal risk. And so the best store of value is what? Is something that is absolutely scarce, right? It's scarce, it's rare, the supply is limited. People have to compete for this limited supply. So that makes it valuable. We can trade with it because it's rare. And the other thing is we want it to be independent. So if you think about it, government money like dollars, euros, yens, they are abundant because they produce as much as they want. The governments produce as much as they want, and also they are dependent in their country's success, economy, right? So it is a terrible store of value. So what is the best? We have been using gold for thousands and thousands of years, right? Because it's scarce, and because it is independent. It is an international asset that doesn't depend on a single government or any CEO's decision, right? So it has been a good store of value, but there are fundamental flaws with gold. First, it is scarce. It is much better than almost all the other alternatives, but it is not fundamentally absolutely scarce, right? The supply increases 2% per year, so every 35 years the supply of gold doubles, right? So every 35 years you'll lose half your money if the demand stays the same, right? So it is not absolutely scarce. And also there's many other issues with it. It's confiscatable, it's hard for people, it's easy for people to steal, it's very hard to transfer around the world, it's hard to verify. Jewelry stores even, it's hard to verify. They buy gold at the 98% 98% gold, right? But it turns out it's 96%, 97%, and it lost thousands of dollars because of that, right? It's so hard to verify if it's real gold or no. So what is the best alternative? Something that is 10 times better or 100 times better than gold. It's Bitcoin. This is my perspective, right? Not financial advice, but my perspective. Why? Because Bitcoin is pretty much the only asset, one of the only assets in history where the supply is absolutely limited, right? So in pretty much all the assets in the world, if the demand goes up, the supply goes up as well to stabilize the price, right? Even gold, if the price of gold goes up, more gold mines that weren't profitable before, now they are profitable, so they start mining more gold, right, to stabilize the price. The Bitcoin is the only asset in the world. The demand goes up, the demand goes down, the supply is completely fixed, right? And so that's at least 10 times better than gold, right? At least 10 times, or 100 times, or even more, right? So what other characteristics are 10 times better than gold? So it's super easy to verify, right? And also it is unconfiscatable. People can't take it away from you. They have to ask for permission first, right? So imagine all these people that live in governments, they live in countries with governments, banks, employers that don't respect their property rights. Bitcoin gives people property rights for 8 billion people. For 8 billion people, Bitcoin gives property rights, true property rights, right? So this is 10 times better than gold. 10 times. People have to ask you, or they have to ask you for your password in order to access it, right? So it's 10 times better than gold. And also it's accessible to everybody, and it's super easy to transfer, right? So Bitcoin gives hope to 8 billion people that have this problem of holding on to their economic energy because every single entity is trying to suck it away from them, right? So Bitcoin is hope. And also Bitcoin really restores this concept of savings, right? Transferring value into the future with minimal single points of failure. It restores this idea of saving, right? So that doctors, plumbers, designers, any of these professions, they can focus on their crafts. They don't have to gamble their money. They can just store it in Bitcoin, and just focus on what they're doing, and they are able to increase the levels of the ease of survival as much as they accumulate. Ease of survival and freedom to 8 billion people, right? So this is my perspective. This is not financial advice. This is just the way I see it, but I see this has a big hope for the future, right? So that's all I wanted to say.